Before this video starts, I'd like to apologize to you. You'll notice that when the video starts, I recorded it a month after the channel update video. But if you look at the bottom right of my screen now, it's been about 6 months since the recording. A lot has happened on my side, and I obviously haven't had enough time to make these videos. And because I don't know what's going to be happening with me in the future, I want to make sure I don't give any empty promises on some of the stuff I'll be doing on this channel, because at the moment I don't actually know what I'll have time to do or when my next video will be. However, I do love teaching and I love making all this Danganronpa content, and if whatever reason you want to learn more on how to create your own Fangan in Unity, I highly suggest contacting me on Discord, and my tag will be in the description. With that out of the way, enjoy the video. Hello everyone, Sweden, or Zetsis here, with the final part of the dialogue-only trial setup. I'm sorry this took so long to get out. My projects have been going very smoothly. You know how life is. I'm not going to waste any more time, so let's finish this trial. First off, you'll notice that I've changed my Unity version. Don't worry if you're still on the old version from the previous videos. The reason why is because I'm doing this on another computer and my other main projects are using 2020.2.2f1. You don't have to change your version. It shouldn't affect anything if you have the old one. You shouldn't have any problems for whatever reason. But if you do, I don't know why you would, but just in case, let me know in the comments or send me a message on Discord. The second thing is, if you've been keeping up with Danganronpa Unite, it is changed into the Uzujigoku Massacre. So these assets are no longer used, and they have a whole new set of characters, and it looks very cool. But despite this change, we will still be using the old assets for this demonstration, but thank you anyway to them for letting us use these assets. As I mentioned in my update video, I'm going to give you guys the main code file and go step by step with you on how to set it up and how to complete this trial dialogue. The coding file for this will be in the description below. When downloaded, drag it into Unity into your scripts folder, like I have here. Then make a new game object and call it Trial Manager, then drag our new script in there. As you can see, I've already done this, but I will do it over to just show you guys and go step by step with you. Right click, create empty, so we have our new game object. Trial, let's call it Trial Dialogue Manager. And then I will take the script that I have, just click and drag it into the inspector area, and we will now have this. Now, step by step on what to do from here, you should have what I have from the previous videos. If you haven't checked the previous videos, I highly suggest you go there so you'll be prepared for this one. So the first thing is the dialog box. If you click on this little button here, it should open up a little window that tells you your options to plug in. For this example, we used nameplates for this trial instead of character text. So I believe I covered this in my third video, where if you have nameplate, you would follow a different example, or you would follow my example. If you had a character text instead, you would create a character box, and this is where you would plug it in. But I will not be plugging it in because we use nameplates for this example. So just leave this blank if you are doing nameplates. If you're doing character box, leave this vacant. But since I did nameplate, I'm going to use, in my UI canvas, the nameplate object that I made, and I'm going to drag that one in. For dialogue, you're just going to click the add button here, Same thing, we made a trial dialogue game object, or sorry, scriptable object from the previous video, and we're going to plug that in. Now for the character database, same thing. The DR trial camera, same thing, there should only be one. For the next audio source, I don't remember if I covered this in a previous video, but just in case, what this is for the sound effect that plays every time you click the trial dialogue text. It's like a button click, pretty much. If you haven't done that, then I suggest making a new game object and call it like maybe sound effect player. And you're going to add component. Audio source. And you're just going to leave this blank and uncheck play on awake. And then I'd suggest you put this in 0, 0, 0 at position so that it will be in the middle there, so when it's played it'll sound centered in the game. So make this plug in the audio clip that you have, an audio file that you have either brought in from the original DR games or whatever you want to do for the next audio clip sound effect. And then you're going to plug that in into this. But since I do not have one, I will be leaving it blank, and it's okay if you leave it blank too. For trial cam tester UI, there should only be one, and same thing for the camera animation database. If you have all of these complete, you should be ready except for one last thing. In this code, the camera needs to know what character to point to. Now, most of this is already set up for you. However, originally in DR Editor, there was not something that indicated this easily. Currently, in the code file that you guys have, you should, if you were to open it up and go to, if you open it up and double click on it, it should open up Visual Studio and the code file and all the code inside of it. You'll notice that yours will have what I have commented out here, which is the trial height, this one where it says cb.trialHeight. The reason why your guys' is like that is because of what DR Editor naturally has. It does not originally have something that indicates position, or the position of the character. So for this, originally, what I had done, since this is an old setup, I have set the trial height in the character objects to the actual position. Now, by position, I mean a number between 0 and 15 for a quote-unquote total of 16. Now remember, for this setup, I have not set it up to where you can have more than 16. It is limited to, at the moment, only 16. I will probably have another video in the future, but I don't know when, on covering how to possibly make a extra or less trial stands as well as positions. Now you'll notice that in my inspector, you'll notice there's trial height and trial position, but you'll notice on your project, you will not have trial height, or I'm sorry, you will not have trial position. The reason why is, like I mentioned earlier, the trial position isn't something that was kind of set up in the original DR editor. So you have two options. You can either keep what you currently have in your code, which is the trial height that it uses, so you can actually change this trial height to a number between 0 and 15. So this character would be 0, and this character would be 1, going, I believe it's clockwise, all around, to where this character over here would be 15. And you're going to do that in each character object. And this is only if you're doing the trial height-wise, if you're lazy and you just want to, have this set up. If you want to do the way that I'm gonna show for this, because this is more of a better updated way, and this is just, I guess, my way of doing things, is I've set up to where trial position is going to show for us, and we have an option to actually use it. But this requires us going into a bit of code. So to do this, we are going to go into our trial dialog reader script, and we are going to add this line of code instead of the camera.seatFocus equals cb.trialHeight. You are going to write this instead. Camera.seatFocus equals cb.trialPosition. Now, don't write this first, right? This is actually going to be the last thing we write. What we're going to do first is we're going to go into our main assets folder in our DR editor folder, over to scripts, characters. There's going to be a character.cs here, and you're going to double click that, and you should be opened up to here. And what you're going to do is at line 28 here, after trial height, you're going to press enter, and you're going to write this public int trial position equals 0. Going to write this here, Control S to save your code file. You are then going to go back into Unity, same area, there should be a folder here called editor, and there should be a script here, student editor. Double click that, and that will bring up this big long file. Go down to line 43, press enter, and you're going to copy what I have highlighted here. You're going to copy this. And I'll let you pause the video for a moment for you to type that out. And you are going to now Control S to save, and now you are going to write this at line 63, 64, right? And then save, Control S, and now you should be good to then go to your resources, characters, and go through each one of your characters and put in their trial position from 0 to 15. Now, the moment that you've done all of that, now you are complete. Everything you have done is now set up. Control S to save your scene, and assuming that you have done the trial dialog correctly, I believe I covered it in a previous video, I would only suggest that you use the sprite change and the camera The event, for the script that I've given you, the event doesn't really work and it's a lot more complex. The same thing for VFX, as well as sound, but sound's not really as complex. But that will most likely be done in another video. And I'm sure you could probably look up some documentation on how adding sounds and audio sources similar to this. It is pretty much this process. But what you'd be doing is setting up a vacant audio source, and you would have to just code into this script to take this audio source, or a vacant audio source, and then plug in the clip in the trial dialog, and it will use it in the script. But that's how you would do it if you coded it that way. Now, assuming that you selected the character, typed out your text, did your expressions if you had any for that character, and the camera animation, this is what you will have. So as you can see, it looks very nice, very clean, and that's it. You're done. Now you can just play with trial dialogue assets, have multiple assets so that multiple of those dialogue can be played at once, and that will create your trial dialogue sequence. Now, this has become a little bit old, and I really need to update this a bit, but my current methodology of showing people this, so far it seemed alright, and from what I've heard from you guys, your feedback, this has been helping you guys a lot. So I'm really working on getting tools and setting up a bunch of stuff so that this stuff is easier to learn and a lot better. I don't know the next video I'm gonna do. It will most likely be non-stop debate or free time events, or 3D walking around, something like that. But that is it. I will have links in the description for this actual completed project file if you want to use this, or you don't want to go through all the work of actually going through, I suppose, the tutorial. I noticed that the zipped up project file was not even like 100 megabytes. So the link to download the zip file for this project will be in the description. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate the feedback you guys have been giving. All of the links for the wonderful people who helped me on these videos will be in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.